So before we take a little 10-minute break, we'll give you Old Man River. There's an old man called the Mississippi. That's the old man that I'd like to be. What does he care if the world's got troubles? What does he care?
Welcome to the Flame and Fiber podcast. My name is Barbara. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Diva S. And we have a Flame and Fiber podcast group on Ravelry, which you can find under the groups tab on Ravelry. And I'd like to say welcome. If you're a new viewer, thank you so much for checking me out. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And I really want to say thank you a lot to everyone who's messaged me and gotten in contact and congratulated me on my 300 subscribers. So I've closed the thread for the 300 subscriber giveaway, and I have pulled a winner, which I will announce shortly, but I want to explain a little bit about what you've just seen. My plan is to put 2 songs before I start talking, so I hope that works out. The first one, I unfortunately did not start at the beginning of the song, but I think it's worth putting anyway, is a duet between my sister-in-law, Kim, who is Dennis's sister, and Michelle Bell, who is an amazing world-class singer. My sister-in-law is a good singer, too. I mean, she and Mick met each other, and Kathy, who is the one playing the piano, and Mick's wife, over 30 years ago when they were singing together at a restaurant, dinner theater kind of place in Santa Monica called Verdes. And Mick is amazing. You've just seen him sing Old Man River. He was nominated for a Tony Award for his role of Joe in Showboat. So he sang that song 8 times a week for 5 years. And it's amazing, and he's amazing, and Kathy's an amazing pianist. And they gave a concert this past week as sort of the main kickoff to the celebration of my father-in-law's 100th birthday. He, depending on whether you believe his mother or his birth certificate, his 100th birthday was either yesterday, according to his birth certificate, or today, according to his mother, who is no longer with us. But anyway, so my father-in-law is now officially, no matter who you talk to, 100 years old. And we have been having a very long celebration to honor that event. And the kickoff was a free concert by Mick and Kathy in his honor, and I was able to record most of it. Unfortunately, I didn't start at the beginning of that song with Kim and Mick, but I put it in. I think I'm going to put it in anyway because it's amazing. And then, of course, Old Man River. Now, my request for the concert, which came too late to make it into the concert, was for Amazing Grace. But the way the festivities played out over the few days, there was an impromptu concert again Saturday morning before the birthday party, and Mick sang me Amazing Grace. So I will put that at the end. And a few other songs. I will put the Fifth Dimension medley, I guess, at the end, because Mick was a member of the Fifth Dimension, who you may remember from the Age of Aquarius. I won't sing anymore. That's it. All the singing here is not me. So we'll be glad to hear that. But we had a wonderful time celebrating this birthday, and Dennis's aunt and uncle stayed with us during the festivities. They just left this morning, and they're wonderful people. We love having them, and so it's been a lot of fun. But, I'm tired, and I'm glad to have a day to relax and do my podcast and sit. And I'm afraid you already know this is going to be a long one, because besides the music I'm adding, I seem to have a lot of knitting stuff to talk about. So I'm going to start with the knitting stuff, and I'll go on more about the birthday, and I'll put more songs at the end. So if you're not interested in the music, although I don't know how you couldn't be, you can skip those. But it's going to definitely look like a long podcast when this goes up on YouTube, I am sure. So, but I just seem to have a lot of knitting to talk about. This is my Fairy Hill shawl, and I kept the pattern out. Oh, here it is, my Fairy Hill shawl by Helen Stewart. This is the first shawl of Shawl Society 2, which I have finished, and I have blocked it. I have not woven in the ends, but because I made this with just one big skein of yarn, I only have 2 ends, but I have not had a chance. But I am really, really happy with it. I love the way it turned out. I think the yarn is gorgeous and squishy and lovely. And the yarn is from Backyard Fiberworks. And the base is called Orchard. And it's 600 yards of 80% merino, 20% silk. And it's wonderful. And I love the colors. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I was pretty, you know, I only had 5% to go. And you know, with Helen's Stewart's patterns, they tell you what percentage. And so I knew I only had 5% to go, but I just couldn't get it done last time. But it is beautiful. And I'm really happy with it. And I finished my other thing too, my Asana cowl. Did I bring the paper? Oh, podcaster success. A good thing too, because I said it wrong. It's the Adama cowl, and this is by Hilary Smith Callis. She's the one who did the Star Shower cowl, which I also want to do. And I finished that, and I make this out of Jake from Dogstar Knits worsted in the Ariel colorway, and this is 100% merino. It is so squishy and wonderful, and I'm telling you, this knit up so fast. I have got to start using worsted weight yarn. It's still slightly damp. It also has not had its ends woven in. I'll just tuck that in there and you won't even know. So it goes like this, and it also goes over the shoulders if you needed to. And I love the color, and I love the cowl. I really love this shape of cowl that just, you know, once you put it on, it just stays there. You don't have to worry about the ends or anything. And isn't this beautiful? I am so tickled with it. And the yarn feels really drapey and so soft and squishy. Oh, Jake, love the yarn. Doesn't it look great? I'm so happy with it, except it's still a tiny bit damp, so I will take it off and wrap my hair. But, I'm really happy with it. So I used the whatever size needle, size 9 needle, and it just went really fast. I mean, I had just closed off made it into a circle and started knitting in the round last time. So I did all this since my last podcast. And I love the color. It's so squishy. Oh, really, really super, super happy with that. So I had 2 finished objects, which is good because last time I didn't have any. So I did a lot of knitting and a lot of finishing. And I had this crazy idea that I might be able to finish my Gris sweater by Saturday so I could wear it to the party. But, you know, then people came. You know, when you have a house full of people, you can't do knitting that takes, like, energy. And so this is the Gris. And I had at least hoped to be able to do the shoulders. The shoulders are closed with a 3-needle bind off. So you bind off, 3-needle bind off the shoulders from the front and the back. Look how nice it looks. And then you bind off the back neck all together. Then you pick up for the sleeves, and you knit the sleeves and you're done. So that's where I am. So what the heck? Sorry. So I thought, oh, it'll be so much easier to show if I do that, but I didn't get a chance. But I worked hard on this. I was still in my first ball of yarn. And you can tell where the new ball came on, not because the color changes, because the color does not change. And I'm really happy with that because I did not alternate skeins. But I had knit the whole first ball of this yarn. And this yarn is the naturally dyed yarn that I got at, and I'll put the name of the booth down here because I forgot it. But this is dyed with Osage Orange, and it is 65% bamboo, 65% merino, and 35% bamboo. So it's lovely and drapey, and it's going to be wonderful for the summer, and it would have been great to have. Well, it turned out it wouldn't matter because my sister-in-law got everybody t-shirts, and we all had to wear t-shirts. So I'm glad I didn't bust my butt to get this done just so that I wouldn't be able to wear it because I had to wear a t-shirt. So anyway, I had knit the whole first ball, and the sweater was a little bit roomy, and I was really nervous that I wasn't going to have enough yarn to finish it because I only had 2 balls. This is how much I have left, so I am assuming I can do both of my sleeves with this. I will take what I have left and split it in half exactly, so I know how much I can do my sleeves, because the sleeves have this rib detail in them, and I need sleeves. I've got those fat old lady arms, you know, I need sleeves. But I am really tickled with how it turned out. And so anyway, I had knit up that whole ball of yarn. And when I tried it on, I thought I really have extra room here. And I don't, you know, I don't want it too short, and I need sleeves, so I didn't actually tear it out. What I did was I literally had knit the whole ball, so I just took the end and I started re-knitting it in the next size down. And I got further by 1.5 inches further on the base of the sweater than I had the first time I had knit that. So since I was knitting from knitting, you can see it's a little, you know, it's like knitting from a sock blank. So you can tell exactly where my second ball went in. It was very shortly after I split for the sleeves. But the color matches great, so I'm really happy about that. So anyway, I am tickled with this. It is a little bit shorter than I would love, but I think when I block it, I'll be able to block it a tad longer, and I think I'm going to be happy with it. And I'm loving the color. And is this not perfect? This is my Fairy Hill shawl. Is that not going to be like the perfect combination? I bought both of these yarns at Maryland Sheep and Wool. I was apparently in a gold and yellow mood. But I really love this yarn, this color, this Osage orange color. They only had two skeins of it, which is why that's all I bought. So I'm so happy with this. So this is the Cell Gris. And it didn't take nearly as much brain power to do the fancy neckline as I thought it was going to, which is nice because, you know, but I sat out on the deck with Pearl and worked on my sweater, but I gave up the idea of being able to finish, you know, because I got this far. I haven't worked on it probably. So this is Monday, June 19th. And I haven't worked on it all week. I think the last time I worked on it was probably last Monday. So, but our company came on Wednesday, and the festivities started Wednesday night. Dennis's mother had us all over for dinner, and so there was no good time to sit down and really think about things. So once I decided I wasn't going to be able to finish my sweater, I had shown you this gorgeous yarn that I got from Bearhug Fibers on my last podcast. It's a 50% silk, 50% superwash merino. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And I couldn't resist starting. Look at this. I had a little bit of yarn barf on my ball, but is this just amazing? So amazing. And it's so shiny. You can see that it's shiny, I think, because I'm right by a window here. My picture on Instagram, the shine did not show. But I only got it started and I haven't had a chance to work on it since but it was just enough to start working with it and see how it would do. Now, I am making, isn't that pretty? I am making the Canopy shawl by Mandarin. This was a gift to me from the lovely Linda, who's a member of our group, who sent me this pattern as a gift. She's so sweet. And I love the pattern, and I decided, I hope that the yarn isn't too busy and that you will be able to see some of the loveliness of the pattern. But I like the fact that it has sort of some plain stockinettes, you know, because this yarn is going to look great in the stockinette, but it's going to look good here too. So I'm hoping that you will be able to see the pattern, because the yarn has a lot going on, as you can see. But I've only just started the pattern, and it's hard to tell if you're going to be able to see much of the pattern. But it's going to be a lovely shawl. Thank you so much, Linda. You are a sweetheart. And so it was too fun of yarn not to cast it on, and I've been wanting to make that Canopy shawl, and I had decided that I wasn't going to knit the second shawl in the Shawl Society by Helen Stewart, because I really don't, at this point, I'm not interested in having another half pie shawl, because I did her snow melt, and it's lovely, but it's not a shape that I love. So, and I'm keeping this in my beautiful owl bag from Lorelei Erdo. I just love this bag. I think that owl is so cute. And then she has this batik fabric that matches the owl. And then the inside is also lovely. Isn't that nice? And I have been, my knitting has been catching in my zippers lately. This beautiful bag. This is the bag I have my Gris in. This bag was made by Debbie Reese's aunt and Amy Meeks. Debbie Reese and Amy Meeks, the Periscoping sisters. Debbie Reese has an Etsy shop, and she sells bags that her aunt made. And I saw this on their Periscope, on their podcast. I'm like, I have to have this one. It's lovely. But a couple of times I have caught you can see the fluff in the zipper. I have caught my yarn in the zipper. So I need to be more careful, and I don't have to be quite as careful when I'm using a drawstring bag. And she has these lovely beads on the ends. Lorelei Erdo, she's a jewelry maker too, so she has beautiful jewelry. But I think of myself as a jewelry maker, so I'm not buying the jewelry, but I love the bag. When I saw this bag, and it was like literally the day after, I said to myself, Barb, you don't need any more project bags. You have so many I have a pile of project bags over there. But I couldn't resist. Owl bag. So anyway, thank you, Linda, for the gorgeous pattern, and thank you, Lorelei, for the beautiful bag. And that yarn just makes me smile. So those are two of my works in progress, and my last work in progress are my flame in fiber socks I'm making. These are my socks. The pattern is Socks with Holes In by Lou Lee. This is her simple sock pattern. And I did a Vanilla is the New Black heel in this because it's a nice roomy heel. And, but I'm going to do her toes when I get to the toes. But this is where I was in my last podcast. So I've done quite a bit. It really is simple. I do not want to do complicated socks, as I said before. My sock knitting is my brainless, let me just sit down, you know, and knit. And these socks with holes, they are pretty, and they're not plain, but they're very simple. And I didn't even print out the pattern. I didn't print out, I just look at it and I know what to do for the next row. And I've really been enjoying knitting these, and I can knit when I'm talking, and I can knit when family's there. You can see the way this pooled. I love that. So I've got a little stripe on the ankle, and then it goes back to striping. This is the wonderful Flame in Fiber yarn by Jacob Dark Star Knits. And this is how it looks balled up. And this is how it looks in the skein, because this is the giveaway for the 300 subscriber podcast, and he named it after the podcast, Flame in Fiber. I just love the colors. I mean, these are the happiest socks ever. And this is a BFL, 80/20 BFL nylon. These are so squishy. Oh my gosh. I think this is my favorite base for socks. Oh, I am loving this, and I can't wait to wear the socks. But anyway, so this is the yarn. I'll stand here like this, and maybe the thumbnail from my... I don't know if it works like that. Anyway, I love this yarn. I'm so happy with it. I have another skein for myself that I am going to, I think, try making a hat. I haven't ever made one of those. You know, there are quite a few cool stock fingering weight yarn hats that I think I'm gonna, and I think this will be beautiful because I love the colors and the way it was pulling. So I'm in love with my socks, except I do not know what's with me. But when I was making this heel, and I don't know if you can see that. See this? I have this little patch of really, really, really loose knitting. I mean, my gauge here versus here, it's like night and day. I mean, I was really seriously thinking about tearing these socks back. That's how loose at the bottom of my heel. Now, this is where I'm knitting back and forth, and I was apparently talking too much and not paying attention and not thinking about my gauge, but it's like so loose. And then you go up here where I'm knitting in the round, and it's nice and tight. But I decided I'm not gonna tear it out. I'm gonna keep going. And if I wear out the heel of these, I'll be sad, but I can fix it. But I don't want to go back. I don't want to. I want to keep going. I want to finish these. So these are my June socks, and they're progressing really nicely. They seem to zoom. Something about that pattern and the yarn, you know, because those color changes and then the pattern with you kind of keep going. So I got a lot of knitting done. Boy, I kind of zoomed through that. Normally I'd be, you know, wouldn't get this far in 45 minutes, so I'm doing good. So those are my works in progress, my sweater, and I just started that little shawl and my socks. And I'm really happy with my finished objects. I did buy some yarn at my local yarn shop. They were having that trunk show. I showed you, I think, 2 podcasts ago. I bought I forget what it was, Corriedale or some lovely yarn to make the Adama cowl. So I might just make another one right away. And I have enough of this yarn left. I did have to go into the second ball. I had 2 skeins of this. I had to go into the second ball, but boy, not for very much. I think I only did about 3 or 4 rows. So I have a lot of this left. So this is going to be either a hat or mittens. Fingerless gloves, maybe? I'm not sure. But I love it's so squishy and warm, but it's nice and drapey, too. But I don't have enough to make another one because I went into this ball a little bit. I was thinking, oh, I can make one for my mother. I don't know. But I'm going to make some, and besides, I need something that goes with that cowl. So probably a hat. Probably a hat. Thank you, Jake. Beautiful yarn. So happy with that yarn. So that is the knitting that I have been doing, except for I've been doing a little knitting in the last couple days that I want to show you. One of my new acquisitions is a Craftsy class called Lace Shawl Design with Miriam Felton. And you get all kinds of course materials. And I have some Craftsy classes that I haven't watched yet. I bought them. My advice to you is never pay full price for a Craftsy class. There's always going to be a sale. And so there was a half price sale. And so anyway, so I bought, a few classes that I know I'm going to be interested in because they were on sale and, whatever. So I have a few classes that I haven't actually taken yet. But in general, when I take a Craftsy class, I just sit there and I watch it. And I learn some stuff, but I never really go along, sort of do the exercises and do that kind of thing, I took the from worsted to woolen spinning class with, I'm putting her name down there because I'm not remembering. She's the woman who does Ply Magazine. Really lovely. And it was a really interesting class, and I learned a lot. But did I watch that in front of my spinning wheel? No. Did I go to my spinning wheel and say, okay, let me just pause, let me go? No, I didn't do that. But I have a tendency, when I get interested in something, so my friends and family tell me, to go a little overboard. So I decided I wanted to learn how to knit, and I end up with all this yarn, and I start spinning yarn, and I start a knitting podcast, and I have all the things that I want to do to dye yarn. And now I've decided I would love to try to design my own shawl. And so I decided so I bought the Lace Shawl Design class. It's a $50 class on Etsy, so I got it for half price with Miriam Felton. And, I started doing my normal thing, which is, just sit and watch it. And that, I sat and I think I've watched the first 5 episodes or lessons. And, but she's sitting there drawing circles and, yarn overs and things in the, and I'm sitting there watching it. And one of the things that you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do swatches so that you learn how different stitches react together. Well, I had last week, right after, all right, I'm in the middle of a row. That's a podcast or fail. Right after my last podcast, I had received my next row 1, which is the monthly, surprise yarn that she takes a different yarn dyer or yarn company, and she makes all kinds of little minis. And so you get 20 little 5-gram minis of their yarn to see all the different colors and, to learn about yarn. This month's row 1 is Northbound Knitting. And I forget who last month's was, but last month's, the colors were okay, but not great. And, nothing was inspiring. When I got this yarn, when I opened this package, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to knit these up and see what they look like. I want to try this yarn. Now, this yarn is a 100% merino fingering weight, but look at all these great colors. Anyway, this time, the row 1, I felt really inspired by the yarns that I got, and I wanted to knit them. Now, these are only 5 grams. Now, if I had any interest in working on my mitered square blanket, these would be perfect, because my squares in my mitered square blanket, which you have never seen, because I have not knit on it since I started podcasting last September, the squares only take 5 grams. So this would, and maybe will, be perfect if I ever want to do that again. But I didn't think that these would be great for my crochet blanket. I mean, they would be lovely in my crochet blanket. I don't think they'll go very far. 5 grams isn't going to go very far with crochet. But the other thing is, I was interested to know, how does this yarn knit up? And so putting it in my crochet blanket doesn't answer that question. So meanwhile, I buy this class, and I'm supposed to be doing swatches. So I do swatches. Look at me doing my homework. So here's one of my swatches. Isn't this a beautiful yarn? This is called Love Song. And I used every inch of that 5 grams for this. I have some idea that maybe these could be like little coasters or something. I mean, they're not thick, but they're wool. Wool is absorbent. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. So there's one of the samples, what's the word I'm trying, swatch. Words. Apparently words are hard today. One of the swatches that I made. So this is a bright color, but you can really see, and the point of this swatch was, if you do the decreases one way, they show on a ridge, and if you do them the other way, they don't show at all. So it's it's like showing. Now this one I was practicing all different kinds of stuff, so this did not turn out to be a lovely swatch. It's a little wonky, which was one of the things you were learning. Can you see? I mean, can you see how these stitches go sideways and these go up and down? I learned why that is. I had no idea why that happened. Now I know. Now I know. So I'm in the middle of my swatch, which is podcast or fail. I'm in the middle of a row of my swatch. But I designed this swatch. I'm like, oh, well, what happens if I do this? So I will put on my little chart, and I put my little zeros and my little... I'm a designer. I designed this swatch that I'm in the middle of. I didn't get a chance, but you can see, the stitches go up and down, but here the stitches go sideways, and here the stitches go the other direction. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Right here they go one way, here they go another way. I had a center double decrease. So anyway, so I've had a lot of fun. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. I could sew them together and try to make some kind of blanket out of them or something, I guess. I don't even know. But they might work as, this one I might take out and redo, because it's a dopey swatch. But I learned stuff from it, and that's what swatches really are for. But I used every little bit of yarn for these. I guess I had a little bit left over of this. I mean, just the tiniest few inches. But this is lovely yarn. This is 100% merino fingering from Northbound Knitting. And the colors are wonderful. And this color is Isabel's favorite. She said she wanted her sweater this color. I'm taking her to a yarn shop on Wednesday to help for her to pick her yarn for her sweater. If she doesn't find anything she likes, then I might actually order this yarn and hold it double, because it's pretty. This is the color Julep, in case you were wondering. But anyway, so I have all my in my bowl that I made many years ago when I was doing pottery. Doing it all. Oops, something just fell, but I'll get it later. So this was row 1, and I will put a link in the show notes. And basically every month, it's $35. I think my first month I had a discount, so there may still be a discount. Naughty Knitwits had a discount code for them. But So you get 20 little samples. The both months that I've done it, I've gotten 5-gram samples and 20 different colors. So you can really see what the what they have to offer. And the Northbound knitting is so lovely. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, I want to knit this. What am I going to do with this? So I, when I said, oh, why don't you do your homework? I'm like, yay, I will. So this is exactly how much one of those will knit, which would be perfect for my mitered square blanket. But I don't want to knit on my mitered square blanket, so I'm not going to. So anyway, so this class is really interesting. Miriam Felton is the teacher, and I'm only halfway through it. I'm going to go back and start watching it again now that I've done some of the swatches. But one of the things she, I mean, if you're going to be a designer, you need a stitch dictionary. And so she said, if you're only going to get one stitch dictionary, get this one, which is the Second Treasury of Knitting Patterns by Barbara Walker. Because the second one has more lace. And since this is a lace shawl designing class, she recommended that. But I, being me, I ended up getting both of them. Of course, I got them both used. So I got the first treasury. It's a little beat up, but it's hardback. And then I got the second. Now, I do own a stitch dictionary already, and I'm not sure which one it is, because I forgot to think about that and bring it in here. And then I have the 365 stitch patterns. It's almost like a calendar, but it's not really. And I have that. So I have a bunch of stitch patterns, and I am going to design myself a shawl. Because apparently that's what I do. I just do whatever, like do it all. I want to do it all. And I don't want to make it. I don't want to design a sock pattern because I don't want to knit those socks. Surely you're going to want to knit the thing you design. So I'm not designing socks, but I am thinking about designing a shawl. You will hear all about it. I guarantee you. You will hear every gory detail. But I think that would be fun. Just, work on the creativity. But so those are some of the goodies I got that, and I'll tell you, and I'll give you a critique of that class after I've gotten all the way through it and done more of the exercises and things like that, because I really am interested, and we'll see what I think about it. I apologize for my glary glasses. I have mislaid my non-glare glasses. So I'm glaring you. Actually, my aunt, Dennis's aunt, took them by mistake, and I won't get them back till later. So I said, don't worry about them. Don't bring them back here and go out of your way to come back. My other goodie that I got is my yarn box yarn. And I'm not finding the little card that goes with it. But that doesn't matter. This is the yarn. It's called Yarn Carnival. Hand-dyed yarns made in Texas. And this color is called Galactic. And it's high wire 3-ply, 100% merino superwash. So this is a sock yarn with no nylon. And it is a little, if neon can be dark, this is a neon color. This blue is so electric. I'm just really loving this color. So I will be making these into socks. I'm going to be trying 100% superwash merino socks with no nylon. These are going to be warm. You know me, I like a lot of wool in my socks, so these are going to be warm. But this is a beautiful color. I didn't even go out and look and see what the other colors were. Because when I saw this, I'm like, oh, I love this. I'm really happy with this color. And I think it's an interesting, and it feels great. That would be, it's a high twist yarn. But it would be great in a shawl, too. And it's really soft. So I'm really happy with this. This is Yarn Box. Socks. So that is $19.95 plus shipping. So it comes to like $24. a month, and I get a surprise every month. I apparently like a surprise every month. So now I've got row 1 and this, and I think I have 2 more months of Toad Hollow sock club coming. So but I haven't gotten that one. They moved. Those ladies, the Crafty Toads, they moved. They had like no notice. Their landlord showed up one day and said, "I want the house." And then 3 weeks later, they're podcasting from their new house. I would be a crazy person, but apparently they, Mary Beth says she's a gypsy, so she doesn't mind moving. Although I think they moved into the buggy neighborhood, so they may not be that happy with it. We'll see. But they moved closer to me, so I'm planning on taking them out to lunch one day, seeing their digs. But anyway, so I've got 2 more months of their literary adventure club to go. And so I'm looking forward to that. I do like a surprise in the mail. I have to admit, I do like a surprise in the mail. So those are all my goodies. My 2 books, my class, and my yarn box, and my row 1. I mean, so you know how you get color cards and things from yarn companies? You can make your own color card with these things. You just say, okay, this is Northbound Knitting, and you put all the colors down. The colors are beautiful. Really beautiful. So anyway, so I drew for the prizes. I have locked the thread for the 300 subscriber giveaway. Thank you to everyone who was interested. We had 34 people interested in. So I picked numbers from 2 to 35, and the number 35 was chosen. And that is Freimeister Jenna from Maryland. So Jenna Freimeister, and I'm going to put it here because I may be pronouncing it wrong, but I don't think so. You are the winner of this, and I will be making some stitch markers to include with this, so you get the beautiful Flame and Fiber Dog Star Knits yarn. You are going to love this yarn. I am every stitch puts a smile on my face when I'm knitting those socks, let me tell you. Oh my gosh. And I am going to be ordering some of this for myself because I'm giving this away, and this goes to one of the people in the Tiny Things Knit Along. And there are 95. So I drew a number from 2 to 95, and the number that was selected was 91, which is Glass Maiden 67. Diane, you're a winner. So get in touch with me. Diane and Jenna both get in touch with me with your physical address so I can mail you some yarn. Oh, this is so gorgeous. I might see if my granddaughter wants her sweater made out of this because she wants light blue. This is so beautiful. Something to think about. When we're picking yarn on Wednesday, we'll see. But anyway, I'm getting some of this for me. And so, Diane, you will be getting some stitch markers from me and this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn in the color I'd Rather Be in the Bahamas. And this is also an 80/20 BFL nylon. So squishy. I just love it. I just love it. So thank you so much, Jake. Jake donated these prizes to the podcast. He's such a doll. And oh my gosh. So gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. And I will be making some stitch markers and including them in the packages. I hear Dennis. I think Pearl's coming. I'm taking off my knits. She loves hand knit. Oh my gosh. This dog is going to be in big trouble. She's all over my knitting. I'll take that off because I hear them coming. Maybe she's being pokey. No? Yes? I'm cutting this out if they don't show up. You are. They are coming. I heard them. Hey, puppy. Are you going to be a wiggle worm? And everybody thinks you're so squirmy and bitey. Stop. Say hi. Say hi. No biting. Say hi. Oh, did you just wake up? Oh, she is so big. She's, what, 25 pounds now? We'll find out for sure on Thursday. She's gotten back to the doctor and get some more shots. But she was 7.5 pounds when we got her. Oh, but she's a cuddle bug. Come on, you're not showing up. I can't hold you in a pouch. All right. Thank you, sweetie. Hey, she's got something in her mouth. It's just a piece of yarn. Not attached to anything. So anyway, she comes in here, she's excited because she's allowed to be up. Now she's upstairs, which she's not allowed to be. And so she's not usually so wiggly, but I don't pick her up very often anymore. I did when she was little. But 3 months old, and she has more than tripled her weight since we got her on May 11th. It's June 19th. She eats a lot, and she's growing, and she's so sweet. She really is. The biting is getting better. But I got dog hair on me now. You know, so we have high hopes for that. She's soon, I think, her ears are gonna be up. I don't know. Dasha, who is our other dog from the same breeder, her ears never actually went up. She doesn't look like a German Shepherd. Her ears are kind of fluffy. But I think Pearl's are gonna go up. We'll see. Anyway, that was Pearl and Dennis. So anyway, that's all my knitting and that's all my yarny related stuff. So if you have no interest in the 100-year-old's birthday party or what I've been up to this week, at the end of the show, at the end of the podcast, there will be more music. So Wednesday night, we just all got together, and Mick and Kathy were there. They came the day before, and so we all got together for dinner at my mother-in-law's, and that was the sort of the kickoff of the festivities. Thursday was the concert. So Dennis cooked so that his mother didn't have to cook, and the concert was in the evening, and it was amazing. And you have seen a little bit of it, and I'll put a little bit more of it at the end. Really wonderful, but I did get permission to film it and to put it on the podcast. And then Friday, everybody was still around, and so we had a barbecue at our house, so my mother-in-law didn't have to cook. And, you know, we just hung out, and Dennis's cousin from South Carolina came. She stayed overnight with us on Friday night and Saturday night, so that was nice. And so we were just hanging out on Friday. Saturday morning, Mick and Kathy were leaving Saturday. They were staying at my mother-in-law's, and they were leaving on Saturday because they had to be in Ohio for Father's Day, and so they couldn't stay for the party. So there was an impromptu concert at my mother-in-law's, and that is when Mick sang Amazing Grace for me. And so I recorded that. I didn't record the rest of it, but I did record that. And so the Amazing Grace, where you know, he's sitting on, you know, he's on his knees next to Kathy, his wife, who's playing the piano, singing Amazing Grace. He hadn't sung it for over a year, so I was really thrilled because I love. The first time I heard him sing that, he sang it for my sister-in-law Kim's wedding. He sang it a cappella, and it would just, I couldn't believe it. He sang a couple songs at her wedding, and that's when I realized, you know, music at a wedding really makes a big difference. Oh my God, it was amazing. Of course, you know, not everybody gets a world-class singer to come sing at their wedding, you know. And I'm not talking about the reception. I'm talking about during the service. He sang those couple hymns. So anyway, that was Saturday morning, and then the party was in the afternoon, and everybody, Dennis's dad's name is Garland. His nieces and nephews, he is the middle child of 9, and he is the only one left. All of his siblings have died. But he, you know, had a boatload of nieces and nephews, and almost everyone was able to come. So the house was full of family, and it was a really lovely party. Had a wonderful, wonderful time. And some people were, you know, so some people hung out at their house at the end of the day to help them clean up and to just, you know, talk. And some of the people that traveled quite a distance. And but Dennis and I came back to rescue the puppy and let her out and feed her and, you know, that kind of thing. So we had a quiet evening while everybody was over at Warren Garland's. And that was Saturday. And then yesterday was Father's Day and his birth certificate birthday. And so we took him out to dinner. And, you know, otherwise a quiet day. But we took him out to a really lovely restaurant for dinner. And so that was nice. And Pat, Dennis's aunt and uncle, left this morning and they went over to his parents' house and then they're heading back home to Virginia. And so we had a really nice visit with them. They're wonderful people. So it was really, really lovely. Garland enjoyed every minute of it. He's pretty tired. He gets tired easily. I mean, he is 100. But I'll tell you, I have high hopes for Dennis taking care of me when I'm an old lady, because his dad, not that his dad takes care of himself, he doesn't. My mother-in-law, who's 86, takes care of him. but Dennis is more capable of that kind of thing than his dad ever was. I mean, his dad's a very capable man. He built houses and stuff like that, but he doesn't make his own lunch, you know. But he beats me at gin rummy. He still wins at cards. And half the time, he doesn't forget his cane quite as often these days as he used to. I mean, last year, he would leave his cane everywhere because he'd think about it when he left the house. Oh, yeah, I need my cane. Take his cane, take it wherever he was going. And then he'd get up and leave, and he wouldn't really need the cane, I guess, to leave. And so he didn't think about it. He was leaving his cane everywhere. So he doesn't leave his cane nearly as often anymore, because when he gets up to leave, he thinks, oh, I could use my cane. So he doesn't leave it very many places anymore. But he gets around great, and he's sharp as a tack. And like I said, he still beats me at gin rummy, which I think is pretty rude. You know, 100 years old, he could let me win. Once in a while. Anyway, I'm his favorite daughter-in-law. Yeah, I'm his only daughter-in-law. Well, he has some ex-daughter-in-laws, and I beat out the ex-daughter-in-laws, so that's good. Dennis has a brother who's been married a couple times. Dennis hasn't been married before. But anyway, we had a wonderful, wonderful time, and he really appreciated it. And, you know, when you're able to celebrate with family 100 years, it's pretty amazing. And, you know, like I've said, Dennis and I are really unique in our circle for sure. I mean, we're both in our 60s, and we both have both of our parents, which, what a gift. What a gift to be able to call my dad and wish him a happy Father's Day yesterday. I don't know why I'm crying. Ugh. Anyway, we had a wonderful time. Lovely family. Lovely family, lovely time, and it was great. So that was it. So, wow. I felt like I had so much to talk about. I thought this was going to go on forever. It's still going to be long because I'm going to be putting music in. But, well, and I don't think I forgot anything, but I didn't make any notes other than the notes for the giveaways. So congratulations, Jenna and Diane. Let me know where I should send these, because if you don't, I'm going to keep them. I'm not. I'll pick somebody else. But they're going to get in contact with me. Don't worry. And thank you again so much, Linda, for the beautiful canopy shawl. That's going to be, oh, that yarn is so delicious, and the shawl is lovely, and that'll be fun to knit in the next couple weeks. So I guess that's it. And I will leave you with some amazing music. I know what I forgot. Dang, I knew I was forgetting something. I had so many things to do. I worked on my fleece this month. Holy cow. I made yarn. I actually spun. But I washed my fleece. I bought a fleece at Maryland Sheep and Wool. It's a border Leicester. And I took about a little more than a pound home with me. And left the rest of it with People Form a Mill, and they're going to spin up some Pim drafted roving for me. They took 5 pounds, which I guess is probably going to be 3.5, 4 pounds by the time it's cleaned and everything. But I took 1.5 pounds or so of fleece with me because I wanted to try my hand at processing because this is my first fleece. I'd never done it before. So I think I actually ended up felting a lot of my fleece. I did it in 2 batches. The first batch I think got a little bit felted, but I ended up buying hand cards. Yeah, see, it's a little felted. But I ended up buying hand cards, which seems to, help. And I did, actually I didn't weigh this yarn. But this is the yarn I ended up with. I used hand cards and I did a bunch of roll legs. I just made roll legs on my hand cards. And I spun. So it's a little bit rustic. It's not terrible, but it's a little bit rustic. And, it's definitely been hand spun by someone who's not that good, which would be me. But it's not thick and thin. I mean, it's not even, but I think it's going to knit up like a worsted. This is a worsted from Jake. And I think it's going to knit up like a worsted. Maybe a little thicker than a worsted. But I did a woolen spin and I over-plied it by a lot. So I had to unply it. I had to run it back through the other way to unply it. And so it's much better now. I overspin everything. I just pedal like, there's no tomorrow. I'm pedaling and pedaling. I need to work on my spinning. I should take a spinning class and not just one on Craftsy. But anyway, so I've been working on my fleece. So I did 2 boxes. I have a big shoe box that I made roll legs in, and I did one and I spun it up, and then I did another box full and I spun it up, and then I plied them together. So this is a 2-ply, and it's about 95 yards. And what can you do with 95 yards of like bulky or heavy worsted? I wonder if it's enough for a hat. Be a little bit itchy, but no, it'll be fine for a hat, I think. But I love the color, so this is what the color's going to be that I get from the mill, I'm sure. And my plan, when I get all that back, is to spin myself a sweater. I have big plans. I'm going to design a shawl. I'm going to spin a sweater. I'm going to be doing everything. I'm like, yeah, Miss Fiber Artist of the Year. But wouldn't this be a beautiful sweater? Oh my gosh. It's a little, definitely wool on the neck. There's no question about it. And, and it's the same thing I said when I bought that yarn at the, 2 years ago I would have said, oh, this is too prickly. Now it just feels like wool. And I don't think it'll bother me too much. And I haven't put any conditioner. I've washed it, obviously. I did it in Scour Power or whatever it is with the unicorn, and then after I made the yarn, I washed it in Eucalyptus. But there is a cream rinse. I got a little sample of a cream rinse. That might soften it enough to make it even less prickly, but it's not terrible. It really isn't. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm looking forward to getting like the professionally processed wool. But unfortunately, I'm not getting that until probably August. So I won't be able to spin it for Tour de Fleece. I'm going to be, doing my thing for Tour de Fleece. I love to watch the Tour de France when I'm spinning, so I'm hoping to do that. Although, I don't know if I'm going to be able to because I'm not sure how Pearl will be with me spinning. I had to move my spinning wheel up here and spin. I spun this up here in this room with the door closed because probably not the best thing to try to do with a puppy. Anyway, my goal for Tour de Fleece is to spin every day. At least a little while every day, which I should be able to do. I'm going to be away for a week and a half, right in the middle of it. I'm gone from like the 13th to the 24th or something. But I'm going to take my drop spindle and I'm going to spin I'll be visiting my sister, who is also, I mean, she's the one I got my spinning wheel from, so she won't mind if I'm sitting there spinning on my spindle. In fact, I might bring 2 spindles so she can spindle spin if she wants to. Yeah, I think I'll do that. And I'll bring lots of fiber, because I don't know how much fiber she has left, because every time you turn around, she's giving me whatever fiber she's finding tucked away in her house. So I will be spinning for the Tour de Fleece, but not on this wool, because I don't think I'm going to get it until August. But that is my plan, is to get better at spinning and spin up this yarn. I am not going to do anything like attempt to do any over dyeing of it. I think it's a wonderful color, and it's going to be a beautiful sweater. So I'm pretty tickled with it. So that's what I knew. There was more. I knew I had done something. I have been working on my fleece. Here are my new hand cards. This is the my new hand cards. And one more goodie. Seem to be having a lot of goodies lately. I'm supposed to be not having any more goodies, but it doesn't work that way. When you need stitch pattern books, and you need hand cards, and you need. Apparently, I do. Anyway, now I will say goodbye. And as I said, I hope you have lots of time to do the crafting that brings you joy. And I will talk to you in a couple weeks. Bye.
Fresh out of college, after I left Fresno College on a vocal scholarship in Chapman University down in Orange County, California. Well, fresh out of college, I had the great opportunity to work as a backup singer for the beautiful and talented Abby Lane. Now, Abby, remember Abby? Yeah, she toured all over the world of the United States, and at one of the venues, the New York Plaza Hotel, a manager of a singing group approached me and asked if I would like to audition for that particular group. I said yes. So I flew to Las Vegas, I auditioned, and I got the job. Now, the name of that wonderful group, The Great That first song was written by Jimmy Webb. It was a hit record for the Fifth Dimension. This one is about the musical hair. Put your hand in the air, one hand. And when the moon is in the center house, then Jupiter aligns with Mars, and peace will light up there, and love will say stop. We'll zoom again. Yeah, the one with the lot of hair, that's right. And there he is. We'd like to do a song for you that was written, it was made popular by Quincy Jones. It was written by an artist by the name of Bernard Wagner. There's a wonderful, wonderful message to this song. Of course, it is true to life. When you'll understand, you'll hear the lyrics, okay? All right. Nothing stays the same. Everyone will change. No one stays the same. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold, 'cause that's the way of time. Everything must change. There are not many things in life you can be sure of, except rain comes from the clouds, sun lights up the sky, and hummingbirds do fly. Winter turns to spring. A wounded heart will heal, but never much too soon. Yes, everything must change. The young become the old, and mysteries do unfold, 'cause that's the lights up the sky, and music makes me of the man of the mancha. Okay, all right. The first will be I Am I, Don Quixote, and the second would be To Dream the Impossible Dream. Yes. Now, before we do that, I'd like to show our thanks and give our thanks to the beautiful and wonderful host of our. A wonderful place to stay and visit and hang with a beautiful, beautiful family, the Hoovers. Aura, thank you for all your organization and allowing us to do this particular concert. It's wonderful. And Garden, happy birthday. Also to Josh on sound. Thank you very much, Josh. Right? Yeah. And Dennis, he was very instrumental in helping us get connected.
Push the button.
And with also Naomi and Sue, thank you so much, very much for helping us this morning with our rehearsal time. And which, you know, it's a wonderful thing to be able to have fun and share our creativity with people who love music. And that's what we're all about. I was very fortunate to meet this young lady over here who is retired, by the way. She's going to be collecting. In fact, June 21st. I'm saying it, honey. June 21st. Yes. Oh, shame. Yeah. Oh, no, it's okay. No, but we're loving it, aren't we? Yeah. No. We're not. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, the grandkids look at us and say we're very young for our age. Yeah. But it's always a pleasure to come and perform here. And Kathy and I, we're delighted to really be here and also share with you not only the last two songs here, but later on we're going to do another song from the latest CD, if we have time. Because I know time is I'm not wearing my watch. Time is very valuable now. All right. So, okay. Without further ado, we're going to give it up to I Am I, Don Quixote.
Now girls down his mountain to thee. I am I.
dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear without burial sorrow, to run where the rain did not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love you and chased from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest to follow this door, no matter how hopeless, no matter how hard, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know the 100 years instead of 1,000.